In June 1942, Japanese forces invaded the islands of Attu and Kiska in the Aleutian Island chain, which stretches west from the Alaskan mainland into the northern Pacific Ocean. Their ground troops were being resupplied from Japan by sea. On March 15, 1943, an American force under the command of Rear Admiral Charles McMorris, consisting of 1 heavy cruiser, 1 light cruiser, and 4 destroyers, left Dutch Harbor in the Aleutians based on intelligence indicating that another Japanese cargo convoy was coming to it. The Japanese force was composed of 3 cargo ships guarded by 2 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 5 destroyers. Initial American intelligence suggested that it contained only 1 heavy and 1 light cruiser. McMorris only learned that it had 2 of each until an hour after his first contact with the enemy, though his initial moves of the battle were still aggressive. On the morning of March 27, 1943, the American force was scouting about 180 miles west of Attu and 100 south of the Komandorski Islands, also known as the Commander Islands. Japanese scouts first spotted the American force at 7 a.m., while the Americans made radar contact with the Japanese at 7:30. Firing between the forces began at 8:40, with multiple hits coming from the American cruisers on the Japanese heavy cruiser Nachi between 8:50 and 8:52 that caused enough damage for it to be temporarily knocked out of the battle for 30 minutes. There were several waves of torpedo attacks during the battle by both sides, though neither scored any hits with them. Between 9:10 and 11:03, the heavy cruiser USS Salt Lake City was hit by 4 shells from the Japanese cruisers and became severely damaged as the battle progressed, including steering gear failures, flooding, and the loss of all propulsion at 11:54, though it later regained this shortly after noon. The American destroyers were effective in helping to protect the Salt Lake City from approximately 10 a.m. to noon, laying down smoke to conceal it and launching a torpedo attack at around noon to drive off Japanese warships closing in on it. Japanese forces stopped firing at 12:04 and American ones at 12:12, with both retreating back to their bases. Surprisingly, the commander of the Japanese forces, Vice Admiral Boshiro Hosogaya, did not press the attack at a moment of substantial advantage around noon. He decided to retreat, given that his cruisers were low on ammunition, that he did not realize how substantially damaged the Salt Lake City was, and that he was concerned about the threat of American air support. At the battle's conclusion, the Nachi was moderately damaged and the Japanese heavy cruiser Maya lightly damaged, while the Salt Lake City was heavily damaged and the destroyer USS Bailey moderately damaged. The battle was a tactical victory for the Japanese forces, as they inflicted more damage, yet also a strategic defeat given that the 3 cargo ships were not able to reach Attu, and that further supply of their forces in the Aleutians was only conducted by submarines. This battle was quite unique in that it was a pure gunnery duel between warships. No submarines or aircraft were present outside of a single Japanese spotter plane, likely the only such substantial naval engagement in the Pacific theater of the war. Finally, the battle underwent a tabletop game type simulation at the U.S. Naval War College in June 1943 and notably produced a different result, with the light cruiser IJN Abukuma, Maya, Nachi, light cruiser USS Richmond, and the USS Bailey all suffering slight damage, and the Salt Lake City and light cruiser IJN Tama both being destroyed.